something, particularly when it comes to things like food, clothing, water, that we should not be playing around with these and just going, well, I just want to be able to take the money and invest it somewhere else or do this. These are things that people literally require in order to be able to survive. It's really unethical and immoral on our end as a civilization to allow people to just say, hey, I'm going to slap a price tag on this and deny it to you, knowing that there are going to be people
You have no right to it.
It's just
you're right.
There are going to be circumstances where people need certain things.
That's not the capitalist problem. Anything. He could make all the pills and just shove them up his own asshole if he wants.
Some sort of medication that can assist them with whatever they have. Why would you want to do that by denying that medication or denying any other medication to someone else? That's
because you make money. The only system on earth worse than communism is democracy. From my yard has the one miracle fruit that keeps you alive. No, you can't have on earth because I made it with my kids. I squeezed my man milk all over the ground. I grew the biggest, most beautiful cancer on the planet.
Oi, hello! Welcome back to another shitty video. Alright. What am I going to be looking at today? This is a podcast that has been brought to my attention through some Twitter bullshit. And it was in regards to just some guy who has recently... He is an anti-SJW, I think he still is now. But recently he has been kind of pushing back against a lot of conservatives because if I understand correctly, this guy is a liberal, like an actual liberal, maybe libertarian, and he's been pushing back against the conservatives who were in support of the Don't Say Gay bill, and he himself was extremely against it. And so a lot of people who hate this guy for it brought this clip up. They just kind of brought this clip up as kind of like an own against him or something. But like, they don't seem to understand that this guy, he may be an anti-SJW, but he's not a conservative by any stretch of the imagination. And he doesn't call himself a socialist or a communist or anything like that. But in this panel, a lot of things that he said were kind of they're very like socialist-esque, I'll say. And this panel itself is like it's like a live stream panel where like a bunch of like anti-SJWs like talk a bunch of shit about a bunch of random shit. So like look at the title of this shit. Flashcast. Superman writer mocks 9/11. Okay. Nerdrotic? I don't even know who that is. Nerdrotic Alex Jones attack. I'm guessing this is like when defending Alex Jones in the context. Warner shill too woke. Depwin. Oh, Depwin. You like a Johnny Depwin? Oh, okay. I see. So yeah, a lot of anti-SJW talking point stuff. Probably like the subjects of that panel. So yeah, this is a whole like anti-SJW panel. For the most part, I'm going to be honest. A lot of these people are obviously conservative, and just some guy kind of stands out because he's not. All right, let's take a listen to this. Okay. And no, I'm not going to be I've seen this before, but I'm not going to be discussing. I'm not going to spoil what this whole thing is going to be about.
Crazy. This fucking pandemic was the first time in my life when I would go to not one store, but every store in town, and they would all be out of the same thing. and you
Yeah.
go, okay, this is an actual supply chain distribution in America. I've been to Walmart in Mexico, and I've seen, you'll have a big empty shelf thing there or whatever, and you're like, oh well, it's Mexico. That's fucking weird. This is happening everywhere
Well,
you
but
went.
part of that too is that they stupidly, when they knew that this was going to go down and they were going to lock things down, they were allowing people to buy trucks full of shit, knowing full well that that's just out of line. You shouldn't allow anyone to do that. So they were allowing people to go out with these, like whole pickup trucks full of toilet paper, full of hand. There was one dude who was going around all the stores in his local area buying up all the hand sanitizer from every mom and pop shop.
Oh yeah. Oh damn. When was this? This is back into. Oh yeah, they're talking about the whole panic where people were just frantically buying toilet paper and hand sanitizer because they thought the fucking zombie apocalypse is going to happen. A bunch of morons. I'm so glad that's over.
And they were selling it for like $40 online.
Man, I don't have any problem with that person.
I remember that guy,
This guy said he doesn't have any problem with that? Bruh, what a fucking piece of shit. Right off the bat, this guy has a stupid ass take. How can you not have a problem with people hoarding shit they have no business hoarding? What the fuck? What? This is the kind of advocacies that I'm talking about right here. Dumbass pieces of shit like this are gonna sit there and say, no, I don't have a problem with people like panicking and buying up a shit ton of toilet paper and hand sanitizer away from people who are going to need it. The fuck is your problem? Jesus Christ. This is that capitalist mindset. And this guy, he is a capitalist. And capitalism, in my opinion, is all about me, 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 me. Fuck everybody else. It's all about me and what I want for me and mine. Period. Stupid, fucking selfish, evil piece of shit. And on top of that whole me, me, me mindset, capitalists want everyone else to think the exact same. He wants what capitalism wants, or what capitalists want, for the most part, are a dog-eat-dog world. Fend for yourself. If you're not strong enough to fend for yourself, well, you're gonna get eaten. Sorry, bud, but hey, you're falling in line with this ideology. At least you're at the bottom fending for yourself, or me at the top. I'm also fending for myself, and I'm actually succeeding because I'm more well off than you.
government cracked down in his ass. So that
Yeah, they took it from him because it's like, dude, you can't do that.
Yeah,
Like,
but I disagree with that. Like
Why?
that guy went out and bought all that stuff, and then the government just literally fucking took it.
Yes, they should. He has no reason to have all that shit. It does not benefit him, and it does not benefit anybody else when one person is hoarding a bunch of shit for themselves. Well, well, what are they gonna be left with? They don't have. I know toilet paper isn't like the biggest necessity, but Lord God, I know he's carrying that same advocacy for food as well. Something that people actually need: food and water. I know for a fact this guy would not have a problem with a dumb fuck hoarding all the water for himself, and then he will get mad when the government takes it and redistributes it to the public. He would hate that shit. He wants a dog-eat-dog world. Only the strong survive.
Yeah, I think that I understand why on a principle level it's unfair, but what he did was effectively fuck over everyone else. So in that
No, what he did was more unfair because he had the resources to buy something, whereas most other people didn't, and so now they're getting fucked over because this guy was either had enough money for it, or he grabbed it faster than someone else. And even if the people did have the money for it, you're still fucking them over because now it's unavailable to them.
circumstance where
It's unfair.
In this case where nobody knows how this stuff is actually working, how you can get it, and this is one thing that we do know can kill the virus, and you're just gonna go and hoard it so you can be an asshole. Yeah, we're gonna take your shit.
I'm not for that ever.
No, just some guys wrong in that part when he said it is absolutely going to kill the virus. Wrong. I think I was at the time when we knew a lot less. No, even at around September 2021, I don't think anybody was saying that it would actually kill the virus. But again, this guy is still, and let's say that it did, and if it did, this guy will still be like, so whatever. He had the money for it. Why not keep it away from everybody else? You should have had the money for it. Sorry, kid.
I am, because we're going to die if you don't do that. So
I'm
not gonna
sorry,
let
we're not
somebody,
gonna
like,
die. We're not gonna die because some idiot in Tennessee or whatever bought a bunch of hand sanitizer.
Yeah, but,
if you do it for
that's not
there,
real.
then eventually they're going to do it for other stuff, like you saw.
Oh, hand sanitizer. I don't know if hand sanitizer would kill the virus, but God, what did hand sanitizer do? I think it at least it decreased the chances of you getting the virus, which I would say that is very important. I would actually agree with just some guy on that one. Um, it's just still fucked to just hoard something that would even just alleviate like the chances of you getting it, and hoarding that away from everybody is disgusting shit.
Well,
That
that
who
was
got
the
sent to
problem, like,
prison with Scarelli, whatever his name was, who got sent to prison with the drugs because he came up with some drug and he was going to sell it for like some exorbitant amount of money. When you have one person hoarding everything like that,
Oh, don't diss my boy Martin. He came up with the drug.
doesn't
He came up
matter.
Come up with a
the
drug.
problem
He
in
bought
Tennessee.
he bought the drug. He bought a $7 drug, and then sold it for like $4,000 and shit. But
Yeah,
he
'cause
did buy the Wu-Tang album, so you know.
Because the insurance companies would pay the $4,000. And did you ever see the
Hey, I
interview
wanted
where he
that Wu-Tang
explained
album.
that? By the way, he annihilated the journalists on that interview. They're like, "You increase the price on that." He's like, "Well, yeah, because see, he did invent a different drug, or his company did, and that different drug was." It was a revolutionary treatment for people who had this specific disease, and there's only like 35 of them. And he's like, no one will fund the research into this type of work because there's not enough people to pay for the drug. So, by increasing the costs and burdening the insurance company, because remember, we've got Obamacare and everybody's legally required to have insurance now. So, to put it on the insurance company who allegedly can't raise rates, that will pay for this medication for these people who will never get a drug because it will never be funded.
That is so stupid. So I looked into it a little bit more, and I found that that guy's full of shit. To be frank with you, and I found the interview in question that he was referring to, where he said he like destroyed this woman or whatever. Like before I even look at it, my thing is I looked up the drug and what it does. It's supposed to, what I understand, it treats toxoplasmosis, something that like people get from like animal feces, or like I think it's mostly like animal feces, or like I think meat. Like I think you could possibly, I think you get it from like raw meat or something like that, and it can also be transmitted to babies during pregnancy. So there's like there's quite a few ways to get it, and it's not like it and it it's not great. It's really not. And from what I understand, from what I read, like a lot of people carry the disease, but like very few people suffer the symptoms of it, and the symptoms are not that great. It's a really, from what I read, it's like a really bad flu. Okay, let me see. I'll let it right here. Some people who have tachmosis may feel as if they have the flu with swollen lymph glands or muscle aches and pains that may last a month or more. And I've also read that there are like headaches, and there's a lot of shit. And it can be, and I think it's, from what I read also, it's more fatal if you have HIV or AIDS. And it's 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 excruciatingly painful. It's awful. Yep. People with AIDS untreated and syphilis from tachmosis is fatal. And if your immune system is weakened, especially So let's be honest. Anything that can alleviate the damage that this causes is necessary. People need this fucking drug, and so to block it off by a paywall in general is disgusting to me. But the type of paywall that this fuckwad put up is even more predatory because there's no reason, and his excuse for it was because he wanted to fund a better version. Like, what the fuck do you need a better version for if it's already doing well enough on its own as it is? And if you want to fund a better version, uh, that's what socialized healthcare, in my opinion, does. Because it would be government funded, and then research will be funded, and then we end up getting better versions anyway. A lot of fucking capitalists like to say that capitalism creates innovation or some stupid shit like that, and they carry that argument to everything, which is fucking retarded. Because we have had innovation for medicine, we've had innovation for technology, and just across the board, we've had innovation without capitalism, period, from the jump. To say that, because otherwise we would still be in the Stone Age, if that were the case. And like, and capitalism is still a pretty fucking young system relatively. So it's so stupid because what you're trying to say is like okay, we're monkeys, we're bumbling buffoons, we don't even know what we're doing. And then first we set up capitalism somehow, and then technology happens. What? Is that you see how much sense that doesn't make? It's ridiculous. But no, let's look at this interview real quick.
Imagine for a moment popping a pill before bed that costs about $13.50. Now imagine waking up the next morning to find that the price of the exact same pill jumped to $750 overnight.
$750? Jesus Christ. That's horrible. You're basically, because like, even I don't know, middle class people can't even afford it now. It's a simple drug that people, and like no, it's not the most, well, it's still a pretty serious like disease, but like it's still pretty damaging when people don't have the medication for it. So like, to increase the price for it, you're basically saying only rich people are allowed to not suffer from this fucking disease. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. There is no legitimate reason why. There is no good reason why you would increase the price at such a fucking predatory heights.
This is just what happened to one drug. Meg Terrell joining us now with that story and the man who's behind that price spike. Meg.
Thank you, Brian. And Martin Scarelli joins us now from the NASDAQ. He's the CEO of Turing Pharmaceuticals. Martin, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you guys have said that the reason you increased this price so much after acquiring the drug was in order to do the research and development to develop a better version of Daraprim. I just got off the phone with an HIV doctor who told me they don't need a better version of this drug. What are you doing here?
Yeah, that's not true. There's
What do you mean?
A paper that suggests that 2 patients died due to autoimmune encephalitis from toxoplasmosis. So there's a lot of people who die of toxoplasmosis every year and this field desperately needs new ways to treat toxoplasmosis.
2 people? Well, so 2 people died. Time to fuck over everybody else that could actually get their lives saved by it potentially. This is the lamest fucking excuse I've ever heard. So the solution to the fact that it's not as good as it should be is to exclude everybody that could potentially get their lives saved by the drugs by having access to this drug. What? That doesn't make it makes it it is just greed, and it is just let's be real, he's just trying to make it exclusionary for the upper class. That's all it is. It's just looking out for the upper class.
Toxoplasmosis. For instance, the current drugs right now target the folate receptor of the bug. There's no other way to kill toxoplasmosis as of right now. So we're working hard on trying to find new ways to do that.
So what a lot of companies do is raise venture capital funding when they see an important market for a drug, rather than raising the price on the current patients who need it to survive and who have no other choice but to take it and pay the higher price. Why wouldn't you go that route?
Well, we did raise one of the largest Series A financings in history for a biotech company. We raised over $90 million. And we also feel that this is the more appropriate price for Daraprim.
500% drug website. Approved in 1953. Treats rare infection disease and price raises from 13,700. So basically, what you're saying is, it's still so fucking dumb. Like, it's so stupid. I don't even know how to approach it. So the fact that it's not as good as it should be means we make sure that only the rich can have access to it. And the poor that don't have access to it, that could potentially get their lives saved by it, fuck them. Don't worry, you guys are gonna have to die for the cause of a better drug. So what else is there to say?
At this price, Daraprim is still actually on the low end of what orphan drugs cost, and we're certainly not the first company to raise drug prices.
So Hillary Clinton comes out.
Well, no,
citing
but like nobody raises it like that. Are you fucking serious? That's a
story about you guys in the
lame ass excuse.
Causing quite a stir in the biotech industry. Did you not expect a 5,000% price increase would result in that kind of attention?
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it really depends on how people want to be on the industry. You know, at the end of the day, there have been much larger drug price increases by much bigger drug companies that actually, you would argue, large multi-billion.
I will not look into this because it is, even if that's true, it's a fucking stupid ass excuse. Well, other people have done it, so, you know, I might as well do the same thing, but not as harsh. No, it's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. It was, if they have done it, also bad for them, still bad for you. Fuck you.
$1 companies with lots of cash don't necessarily need to do something like this. Turing is a very small company. It's a new company, and we're not a profitable company. So for us to try to exist and maintain a profit, I think is pretty reasonable.
Most biotech.
Dog, then maybe don't fucking buy exclusive rights to this fucking drug, and then you wouldn't really, then you wouldn't have, it's all an excuse. He bought exclusive rights to it, so he would be the only one to sell it. And then his excuse for raising the price as high as he did is because the company is not as big. Well, if your company's not big enough to sustain having exclusive rights to this fucking thing, then maybe don't buy exclusive rights to the fucking drug. You see how much people like this actually don't care about human beings at all? Because he uses this fucking stupid ass circular logic. And I know he's trying to make it seem like, well, our company is so small and it's not strong enough to help all of you wonderful people. I'm just looking out for everybody, but I'm not strong enough to do it. I have to raise the price. No. Because you deliberately put yourself in that position where you will have the excuse to raise the price.
Tech companies don't actually maintain a profit for decades until they get drugs.
Look how fucking smug this guy. Jesus, I hate this. You know he's proud of what he's done. He's just so happy he has fucked over poor people. He's proud of it.
Well, I think of us as a pharmaceutical company, not necessarily a biotechnology company, and I think that distinction is not exactly clear either way. But I think profits are a great thing to sustain your corporate existence.
Martin, you had mentioned that you were a small company, and you're going to use the price increase, the difference, to do R&D to find a better cure for toxoplasmosis. What kind of R&D staff do you have? What amount of money do you plan on devoting to research and development?
Sure. So we have about 25 people in R&D, and we have open positions for
all of it.
25.
Put all of it, 100%. Don't even pocket a single penny. I don't care. If you're gonna do that, fucking devote all of it to research. If you're gonna go this far, fuck you. Don't even pocket it. go on the streets for it. Fuck you, piece of shit.
We do medicinal chemistry, in vivo and vitro pharmacology. I help the team out quite a bit, so I'm really excited to develop new drugs for toxoplasmosis. We're going to contribute the majority of our revenue to doing that. So in essence, we're taking the revenue from Daraprim and trying to come up with better, safer, more effective version of it.
Okay. And you were a hedge fund manager before.
I hate this bitch.
You probably
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. That's fine. I mean, yeah, a bunch of middle lower class people won't have access to it, so they're gonna die when they even. So they're gonna die when they don't have access to this to the drug that may potentially save their lives. But whatever, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. A simple drug like this should not be $750. It really shouldn't. I'm sorry, it shouldn't.
could have guessed, as Meg had mentioned, that this is going to cause a stir. And we actually saw the IBB, the Biotech Index ETF, go down about 5% on Hillary's tweet. Did you anticipate that that would happen? Are you in any way invested in biotech through a short, either personally or through another fund?
I have a small portfolio, but I don't really watch the stock market on a day-to-day basis.
So does that mean that do you have any position in biotech stocks? Are you short any? Are you short any of them?
Yeah, I'm short a few biotech stocks, but I'm also long a few biotech stocks, and you know, I don't have a specific net short interest in biotech or anything.
Martin, I gotta ask you, doctors have come out saying that you guys need to revise your pricing strategy because patients can't get access to these drugs. This HIV doc I just spoke with said they're trying to hoard it in order to provide it. Do you feel badly about what's happening?
No, in fact, we're increasing access to patients, Mag. I think.
How?
You know, we're dramatically increasing the access to Daraprim, lowering copays, giving more drug away for free. Half of the drug we give away is for $1, so I'm not sure what you're talking about.
What do you? What?
You know, away for free. Half of the drug we give away is Daraprim, lowering copays, giving more drug away for free. Half of the drug we give away is for $1, so I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Half of the drug you give away is for $1. What? Come on. All right, I paused and then I looked a little bit more into it, and he's talking out of his ass. He really is. Everything he just said was contradictory. Cause then he said he was getting half the drug away for free, and then he said he also said he was giving it for $1, but that it's still $750 to purchase. That doesn't make any fucking sense at all. He's contradicting himself. How are you giving it away for free, and how are you also giving it away for $1? And how does that also mean that it's not $750? It doesn't make any fucking sense. What are you going out and giving the drug away to like poor people personally or whatever? I mean, even if you are doing that, that still does not excuse a $750 price raise. I'm sorry, it doesn't, because you're not, even if you were giving it away to people, you're not gonna give it away to literally everyone that needs it. Literally, a lower price will give a lot of people access to the drug. He's talking out of his ass. He really is. I don't believe a word of what he said there.
You know, Martin, when you bought the company, this was a $1 pill before Core Labs bought it. Then it went to $13.50. Now you bought it. Now it goes to over $700. When you bought this company, did you buy it because you knew that you could raise the price?
We definitely planned on raising the price.
Oh yeah.
Sure, we paid a very, very large amount to buy an unprofitable medicine.
Fucking
we can't
demon.
continue to lose money on the drug at that price. So we took it to a price where we can make a comfortable profit, but not any kind of ridiculous.
Again, this is deliberate. He's a fucking I'm not watching any more of this. He's a fucking he's lying through his he's not lying. He's telling the truth on this specifically. But he's taken attention away from the fact that he didn't have to purchase rights to the drug. He really didn't. This is not some heroic venture to fund a better version. No, it's just fucking greed. and also just pure evil and wanting to fuck over the lower class. Sorry, that's just how it is.
On that interview, they're like, you increase the price on that. He's like, well, yeah, because see, he did invent a different drug, or his company did.
No, he didn't.
And that different drug was
No, he didn't. That came right out of his ass. Unless anybody can show me any proof that he quote unquote created a different version of the drug, then fine, I'll concede on that. Even if he did, it doesn't excuse the bullshittery that he is doing, that he did, because this was all back in like 2016, before Trump got elected. So like, no, and I actually did the research. I have not found anything that would suggest that he created like a different version of it. All he did was purchase the rights to what already existed, and then he raised the price. That's all he did. And the company before him did the same thing when it was $1, like the other interviewer explained earlier. It's disgusting. And the fact that they can do this, I'm glad he didn't get away with it. I think he went to prison for it. He went to jail for it, I believe.
It was a revolutionary treatment for people who had this specific
revolutionary
disease, and there's only like 35 of them. And he's like, no one will fund the research into this type of work because there's not enough people to pay for the drug.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem with capitalism, isn't it? If it was socialized, then it would be funded through tax dollars. Hell, like I think even there are plenty of countries that have socialized healthcare anyway, and they're doing fine.
So by increasing the costs and burdening the insurance company, because remember, we've got Obamacare and everybody's legally required to have insurance now. So to put it on the insurance company who allegedly can't raise rates, that will pay for this medication for these people who will never get a drug because it will never be funded.
I have a few problems with like our current system when it comes to like fucking insurance companies. Like insurance companies are just they're a whole other topic that I won't even get into. They're almost predatory, and that's the problem. It's the fact that they are companies. They're more motivated by profit incentive than else. Like I guess I kind of agree with what he's saying there, but again, like we wouldn't have these problems if we had if healthcare and research like this was funded through our tax dollars.
And when you start thinking about it that way, and you go, "Oh shit," you know, maybe there's a reason that the price of this one thing went up that insurance is going to definitely pay for.
Still not a good excuse, because the scenario you laid out that nobody will have access to it, $750, now people still have no access to it. Huh?
And is legally restricted from raising the prices of their insurance without congressional permission. That's going to...
Oh, that? Well, I guess I can understand that, that's their they're insurance companies, so you know that, and that again, that's the problem with companies in general. Like they do, I think they do this like with not just insurance companies, but companies in general, where like they can't, they have to, there has to be a certain, there's certain lines that they're not allowed to cross when it comes to certain things.
To fund a different drug for someone who would never have a chance. I don't know. You can't villainize.
There's
you can't villainize capitalism in my presence. I will never let capitalism be villainized in my presence.
There's a flaw in your plan, which is there are going to be people who cannot afford the insurance, and so those people are going to die because something that is $7 has now been made something like 400 times its actual price. So there's a problem when you do that, where you're in an attempt to save some people, you're killing a bunch of other people who you could otherwise provide the drug to, because
You have
they
no
can't
obligation to
afford
provide the drug
insurance.
to anybody.
Yes, there is a moral obligation to provide the drug to people. But that's the thing. He's arguing in favor of capitalism. He's not arguing in favor of morals. Again, my point always is capitalists like this, at least, and the idea of capitalism in general, it is not in favor of morals. It is in favor of profit and innovation and technology, which is also a fucking stupid ass claim because we can't put that on capitalism to begin with anyway. But that's their idea. Their idea is all about they talk about the greater good, and they talk about sacrificing for the greater good and the freedom to impose your will upon others, because capitalism is all about freedom. Capitalism is all about innovation. Capitalism is all about profit. It's all about you. It's all about me, me, me. It's all about selfishness. That's all it is. There's no morals at all. It's all about the greater good and all about money. It's disgusting. It's satanic. It's a demon mentality. That's why he does not even talk about morals. Morals will never come out of his fucking mouth in any of his advocacies whatsoever. He's just evil. He only cares about selfishness. As an ideological sense, all he cares about is selfishness.
It's capitalism.
If
You
you
can't
price
shame
it in such a
capitalism in my
way,
presence.
if you price it in such a way that it can only be
Self-report.
purchased by insurance companies, and then you're using that as your rationalization for
You just
taking
explained
that
the
money
entire pharmaceutical industry.
to
Yeah.
take the money to help someone else, is your argument that you're doing it out of an attempt to do good, but in an attempt to do good, you're killing other people? That doesn't make any logical sense.
Does he have
No, it's not about logic. It's about morals. It makes no moral sense whatsoever. It's just I will always condemn this practice whatsoever. Fucking talking about fucking over other people just for the quote unquote greater good when you don't even need to anyway, when you can do for the greater good without fucking people over. Because again, if all of our tax money funded research to put forth a better version of the drug that exists now, then we are all serving the greater good. Nobody loses, and we all have access to it. Nobody loses in that scenario.
Yeah, do you have a list of people he killed? Because he has a list of people he saved.
Yeah, 35.
Sure, how
35.
many people did he kill?
A small
Can
fucking
you
number.
name one? Could you have a stat on the number of people? What drug?
We don't know who.
He doesn't have to. He really doesn't have to. Let's say anybody that may have suffered, that may have fatally gotten killed by the disease that this drug will treat. How about that? To just pull up the number of people that have died as a result of it since 2015.
We don't know who couldn't afford the
What
medication.
drug was it?
That's the point.
What
That's the
medication
problem.
was it? I'm asking
don't-
what
And again, it doesn't even have to be fatal, because people suffer from it. The fact that people are even suffering from it and they don't even have to is a problem. And the same argument goes to COVID. It's like they always jump to the death count. But what about the lasting effects if you survive it? Because people shouldn't have to suffer from COVID. People shouldn't have to suffer from any disease when they shouldn't have to. When there's something available that'll alleviate the pain that these diseases cause. And to put it behind a paywall is disgusting.
medication it was.
I don't know the specific.
You're
medication.
very passionate about all the people who died from this
Hey,
medication.
Yes, I'm
What
very
medication was
passionate
it?
I'm
about
just
making
gonna
sure that
say-
you don't
What
price someone out of
medication
being able
was
to
it,
get a
though?
medication. I
What
don't know
one
the
was it?
specific medication.
You're
But
very
but
passionate
you
about
just
it, but you
told me
don't know
that-
the medication.
You just confirmed that the price was raised in order to get money from insurance companies. However, the people who need that are not the only people who are taking insurance. There are going to be people who cannot afford the insurance who
You
can't
can't
get
afford
the
the
money.
insurance. Your government pays for
Nick,
your
I'll
insurance.
tell you the way you can take an instant L right now is if Tug was to pull up a picture of Martin, and that's it. Like,
The dude is a
No,
demon.
I tell you, the
Yep.
problem with
No,
things like
no,
this,
I'm not a
like,
commie. I'm someone who actually has a functioning fucking brain and is not
oh,
sitting here trying to make an argument that says you should
Don't worry, just some guy. Your commie arc starts now.
help people by killing other people or
Who
denying other
did he
people
kill?
access to health insurance. If you're saying that they can't, you want to help someone by creating a drug, and you're going to turn around and use that to make it so that someone else doesn't get the help that they need, that doesn't make any logical sense. If you're trying to be altruistic, which is the argument you're making for him,
I'm not saying
then-
he's being
then
altruistic.
How is that?
I'm
That's
saying he
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You see, that's the problem right there. He does not care about altruism whatsoever. He knows that he doesn't care about altruism. He's like, I'm not saying he's being altruistic. I already know. I don't fucking care. All I care about is profit. All I care about is supporting the idea of selfishness and profit. That's all he cares about.
utilized the mechanism of capitalism to fund something.
that he was trying to help other people was his argument, correct?
But it wasn't
That's the argument.
altruistic.
That is the definition of altruism, that you're trying to help people. Is what
Yeah.
you're doing.
That's not the
Yeah.
definition of altruism.
Hold on, my friend. Sure about that? Are you sure about that? The belief in or practice of disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others. That's kind of helping people. As basically, this idea leads to you helping people. He still made the claim of altruism. Because he said he was doing this to fund a better drug to help others. He basically made an altruistic claim. He did.
Well, is he doing it for any other reason?
Altruism's definition is the belief in or practice of disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others. No one ever accused Martin Shkreli of selfless concern. He's a capitalist.
His desire to
No. Because it doesn't necessarily have to be self-sacrificing in any sense. You can still be selfless and do for others without any sacrifice on your part. He claimed that he was doing this for the greater good and to help other people. No part of what he said was about self-sacrificing, but at the same time he did say he was helping people, which is what altruism is. And he basically implied that he didn't really care about the profit incentive, which is a fucking lie.
create the medication for 35 people is a pretty good indication of selfless concern, unless he's charging them an exorbitant amount of money to get the care. Was he doing that?
I have no idea if he was.
Okay, then.
No. He says that his increase of the price offers his company the ability to go ahead and pay for other things where research would not happen. That does not mean that it's altruistic. It just means that that's what he did. He could do that.
Why do you think he said he did that? Because then in that same interview, he was pulling out of his ass the idea that he was giving the shit away for free, and also at the same time somehow giving it for $1, which, why does altruism doesn't have to be, again, it doesn't have to be a self-sacrificing thing. I don't know why you're so hinged on it just being about self-sacrifice, because that's not what the definition of the word is.
Research.
He could, I don't know. Oh, maybe he has a profit motive in it. Maybe he thinks that research will lead to something else.
He denied that. He denied he was doing it for the money. He said he basically, I don't even think they asked him if he was doing it for the money. All he said was his sole reason was just to fund a better version of the drug. Which again is bullshit. Like, he basically implied that that his goal was to help people. Because what other reason is there besides profit and helping people?
But here you are. And again, you still haven't even said what drug it is that he increased the price on that you're saying killed people.
I don't know.
I know, and you're saying it killed people, and you don't even know that it was Daraprim.
No, he didn't say it killed people.
I didn't say the drug killed people.
Did
I
it-
said that there are people who will die if they don't get that drug.
You don't even know what drug it is. How can you say they'll die?
Because
He doesn't have to? I'm sorry, he really doesn't have. Well, he should have done some prior research on it. I'm glad I looked into it. Yeah, it is a disease that is fatal. So he's right without knowing he's right.
I recall the nature of the thing that they were dealing with was something that could kill them. So as Dan just said, it
Just
was
fucking
involving
Google
AIDS.
it, man. It's
Well,
toxoplasmosis.
Okay, can they die from that?
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe? Yes, they can. Just saying they can does not mean that they 100% will. It just means that it's possible. That's what the objective word can means. You fucking dumbass. Doesn't even know basic English. Fucking evil piece of shit. Jesus fucking Christ.
Is it a life-threatening?
If you're a woman, if you're a pregnant woman eating cat shit out of a cat box, you're gonna get toxoplasmosis.
Dog! That is the most fucking extreme. You can get it from a number of ways. Even doing a cat litter, you'll get it. Literally. Just taking care of a fucking pet, you'll get it. Maybe, and eating like what? Slightly undercooked meat, you'll also get it? Fucking, what are you talking about? You saying that like, you can only get it just from eating fucking cat feces. Dude, I looked into it, and it's the majority of Americans carry this, a lot, and not the majority. A lot of Americans carry this fucking disease. And the thing is, the majority don't suffer symptoms from it. So the fact that they can carry it and give it, and it can even be passed on through pregnancy, you're gonna get it without even wanting to. It's not even because it's basically his argument is saying that like you won't get this disease if you don't make bad decisions, which is fucking stupid. Because like I just laid out, there's a number of ways you can get this fucking disease. He's trying so hard to be extreme and downplay the severity of this disease.
Okay. So my basic question is, if the desire is to provide for other people some sort of medication that can assist them with whatever they have, why would you want to do that by denying that medication or denying any other medication to someone else? That's
because
the
you
question.
make money.
Okay, so then that.
Listen, you see, do I have to say anything? He said it. He opened his mouth and it came right out of his lips. There is no debating this guy. There is no you can't come to this guy with you can't appeal to any emotions here. All he cares about is profit. And again, all he cares about is a dog-eat-dog world. Don't have the money? Fuck you. He wants everyone to be selfish. The people that suffer and the people that are rich and succeed. He just wants everyone to fall in line and accept and enjoy this dog-eat-dog world.
That element at that point is no longer good. That is something that is being done.
Oh,
for
I'm
pure
sorry. I
selfish
didn't realize.
reasons.
Wait, pure selfish reasons. You're out here slamming capitalism again.
I don't care about you making a buck. I'm saying that you shouldn't.
You do
that
care.
To such an extent
You literally
that someone
fucking
can't
care.
afford it.
Your entire crybaby argument here is about not liking capitalism.
Caring about people is being a crybaby. I would say that I feel bad for just some guy, but this is these are the type of people that he surrounds himself with, and I hope he's at least, it seems like he's starting to wake up a little bit. That there is no good reason he should be surrounding himself with evil people like this, because all these people care about is the grind, making money, do for self, care about yourself, always care about yourself, only yourself, fend for yourself. And if you make it, good for you. If you don't, so sorry, kid. And of course, he's always gonna cheer on the super big money making capitalists because he shares their mindset. They don't care about human beings at all, and caring about other people is being soft or being a crybaby. From what I'm seeing here, Just Some Guy actually cares about the individual, and he's trying to make an argument in favor of the individual and for people that he's just making an "I care about people" argument. That's not gonna fly in a space like this, in a community like this, because these people don't care about human beings at all. They really don't. And if you caring about others is soft, is seen as soft, weak, and foolish. This Rekieta is unironically making the argument for evil, and he's open about it, very mask off about it, and he fighting hard for it. That's all he cares about. He is a demon. People like this are fucking evil.
Because someone made money when it wasn't fair for you.
I don't think that it's appropriate to take something that's $7 and then raise the price to $4,000.
Why not? Don't buy it.
Because
if
there
it's
are people
$4,000
who cannot afford that.
What
who
if you
may
need it?
That medication. That's
Fuck
the
them.
point.
See?
Fuck
Okay,
them.
then that's the point. Is that you don't care about
can-
other people.
no.
You just want to make money.
Yes, capitalism. If you can't sell it
shit.
because
Dog.
they can't afford it, then you'll have to drop price.
Right. So then the
it's a
solution to
market.
the problem is we create.
It's so mask off. It's like, how do you approach it? When people are mask off like this, just don't even try to appeal to their emotions or their empathy. There is no empathy there. And if there is, they ignore their own empathy in favor of the idea of profit motive, and just their selfishness overpowers their empathy 110% of the time.
A system that prohibits
Communism.
you from making that item so exorbitantly expensive that people who may need this to survive
just a little
cannot afford it.
communism. Oh, I got
No,
it.
It's
Just a little
actually
bit.
It's actually
Oh
called
my God.
democracy. It's what you live in.
Democracy is
Communism is democracy. Sorry, bitch.
the only system. The only
That's why
system
you
on
win.
Earth worse than communism
It
is
stops
democracy.
you from being able to do what you're trying to do, which is
What? Please. Did he actually just say that? This guy actually said that? He was joking, right? Because I know this guy is fucking Satan. Please be sarcastic.
Communism. Oh, I got it. Just a little bit.
It's actually called democracy. It's what you live in.
Democracy is the only
republic.
system. The only
That's why
system
you
on
win.
Earth worse than communism
It
is
stops
democracy.
you.
Please. Oh no. Oh my God. He actually believes this. I'm gonna make the hyperbolic claim right now. He actually believes this. This guy he's a fascist. This guy is a fucking fascist. He's a literal unironic fascist, and he does not care what anyone thinks in regards to that. He's the most loud and proud fucking fascist. Holy shit. This guy, oh, I knew this guy was Satan, but I wasn't expecting legit fascism.
From being able to do what you're trying to do, which is totalitarianism, which results in
Nope.
people just being
It's not
wiped off the fucking
totalitarianism.
planet.
Totalitarianism is what you're talking about because it
No, it's not. No, the fuck it's not. If that's the case, then your tax dollars funding a fucking fire truck, and your tax dollars funding the police system that I know you fucking love so much is also totalitarianism. And on that front, the when it comes to our current police system, it's kind of totalitarianism. It's pretty close to it.
requires a government setting price caps and price floors.
Yes.
And by the way, if you
Yeah,
want to know
they
what's
do that now. They really do that now. That's why companies are slow walking raising prices on shit, because if they do it if they get too extreme with it, then the government is gonna have to step in and stop them. That's why because the only thing stopping them from like raising the prices to like raising bread to like $200 is because of the fucking government. The government's not gonna let them. If they do that, the government will step in. They do it right now.
Yes, you
Destroy
should
the-
set price
if you want to
caps.
destroy the rail industry and make things more expensive to ship, that's what they did. They set price caps and price floors on the rail systems. That's why we ship everything by truck. That's why everything costs more to ship. Your system is totalitarianism,
Should there not
communism
be-
light, whatever
should
it
there
is,
not be
and it's
any guidance
bullshit.
on what people are doing?
Totalitarianism. Because all this guy cares about, because like he's arguing in favor of the billionaires, the capitalists, the ones that make the money. Because he puts himself into their shoes, and it's like he doesn't want the government to oppress rich people into caring about the greater good, actually caring about the greater good, and like, and having laws or just like quote unquote forcing them to actually do something to actually like, okay, I'm trying to word this the best way I can. This guy sees like a pharmaceutical company saying that they can't the government telling them that they're not allowed to make a fucking drug $700, which will fuck over a shit ton of fucking underclass people, is totalitarianism. Like, that's like saying forcing the king not to rape the fucking peasants every fucking night is totalitarianism. Forcing someone, because that's basically what it is. These fucking pricing is so high is literally just basically imposing your will onto someone else. Because you're basically indirectly killing people by doing that. So passing laws or forcing them to not do that is totalitarianism. In the same token, we already have laws that that basically say you're not allowed to kill or rape people now today. By his logic, that's also totalitarianism.
Then when they're making a profit, they should just be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yes.
No.
That's
Irrespective of how it
capitalism.
affects other people.
It's not their
No.
responsibility to give
No, you
a
should not. You should
medication
not
to
be
someone
allowed to
else.
just-
It's not your responsibility to not stab this guy in the chest. So what? Do whatever the fuck you want. It's your freedom. Sorry, my friend. There are some freedoms that should not be tolerated. Don't know what to tell you, man.
Do whatever you want to do because you
Why
can make
not?
money off of it.
Why
Because you
not?
could be
Because it
doing
could
harm to
hurt
other
people.
That's the
So
point.
you can't actually be doing harm to other people by not
Yes,
giving them something that
you
they didn't
can.
have.
Yes,
No,
you can.
he
You
didn't
can
take-
actually
Yes, you
be doing
can.
harm to other people. You're assuming that every situation that this is going to apply is going to
Nope.
be like that. That's not how that actually works.
It
That's not how the real
absolutely
world
is.
works. That's not.
It absolutely.
It is.
Tell me how me preventing you from having something causes you harm.
So if I need water,
Go
and you
get
decide
water.
that if you decide that you're going to block people's ability to get access to fresh water by, say, building a dam, and then you say, I'm going to charge you money for the thing that you need to be able to survive,
Yeah.
and then say, well, you can't afford it, therefore you don't get it. You have now caused me to have a situation where I will likely die from something that you should be able to just give to me.
Why should I just give you the water? It's mine.
Don't we do that though? Actually, don't we do
Why
that?
did you
We
allow
literally
me to
do that
die
all
in
the
first
time.
place?
We do that now, and that's a problem, in my opinion. Because what this guy doesn't seem to realize is that basically kind of blocking access to natural resources like water is kind of a new thing. Let's be real. Because when humanity first started out and the world was just like the world, we were pretty much just kind of go anywhere. Oh wow, I found a stream. Let's drink water from there. And it wouldn't be a problem because guess what? Guess who has access to that water in that scenario? Him, the animals, or the humans that may come across that water stream. Now, under capitalism, some dumb fuck can just take all that water, block off the stream for himself, behind a dam, and say, "All right, now if you want this water, you're going to have to suck my dick." This is a new phenomenon. This is not it is extremely unnatural. And the previous world is a lot better, in my opinion. And the act of doing that is evil and predatory. But he doesn't care about that.
I tell you, one of the problems.
Dasani should just give you all the water you want then, right? Because you're going to die if you don't have it.
Is Dasani the only source of water?
I don't know. Am I the only source of water in your scenario? That's because you created the fucking weird falsehood that I somehow control all of the water on Earth with one dam. So
well, that's another problem with capitalism, because I technically do have access to any water I find, but who's to say that it's not polluted, or if there's any fucking salt water? God, you're gonna tell me to go to the beach and fucking drink salt water? How am I gonna purify it? I need money to buy a fucking water purifier or some shit like that. It's not as, and even then, well, what if there's no fresh bodies of water anywhere? I have to spend money to travel somewhere, which is another fucking problem, because everybody should be able to have access to go anywhere, wherever they please. There should be no fucking profit motive for fucking travel.
Your scenario.
In terms of the argument that you're making is essentially that someone who wants to make money should be able to do whatever they want. And you're arguing it under. That's literally what you just.
You can't. They can't go out and shoot people in the head. They should be able to do what they want with their property and capital, because I'm a capitalist, not a fucking communist.
That's not what you said. What you said
exactly
is that they should be allowed to do whatever they want to do.
Yes, he did.
And that's what you said. Yes.
You made
now
up
you
a strong
answered the question. Yes.
Here you go. Okay. Yes. I answered the question. Yes. To should you be able to do what you want with your own capital and your own property?
What I asked. Well,
you asked a fucking stupid question. That's not my fault.
You answered the question incorrectly because you were trying to be clever.
No, you're trying to be stupid. You're intentionally trying to be stupid right now.
No, I'm demonstrating that there's a flaw in your argument, which is that
your argument
going to play out one
you're
way.
Trying
That's
to make
not
a
how the
gotcha.
real world works.
You're trying to make a gotcha off of a retarded question.
It's not a gotcha. It's just
you're right.
Situation. There are going to be circumstances where people need certain things.
That's not the capitalist problem.
What?
That doesn't matter whether or not it's the capitalist problem. It is a real problem.
When you're a communist, it doesn't matter if it's the capitalist problem.
What?
You're advocating for state control of resources.
I'm not advocating for state control of resources.
It's not state control.
I'm not saying that.
It's not about state control, because if our tax dollars fund it, then who controls it? The people do. Who controls the state? In a democracy, the people do. This is not about the fucking totalitarian state, because our government is not. I believe the people should have more control over the state than we do, even here now in America. So like, but if we, because ideally we would the people will have more control over the state, and then the state will have control over all the resources. So essentially, the people will basically have control over all the resources, which is that's socialism, bro. I'm sorry. It's all about the people controlling everything. So, and that's basically the whole goal here, is for people to have more control over the state, and then also the state / the people having control over everything.
Prohibit anyone from being able to raise prices. I'm saying that
literally just did. That's
I
the
didn't.
whole
I said that
argument.
they should be
guys,
prohibited from
guys,
being able to do it to
hey,
such an extreme.
hey, I'm sorry, guys.
Oh yeah, you gotta
Hold on, Nick.
limit
Hold
it
on.
at some
Important
point.
stuff. What's the best set of titties you've ever seen?
I don't know. You can't
Jennifer
have
Tilly.
titties in communism
Titties, man.
because those titties are too exorbitantly priced.
Oh my god.
Look at it. If they get too much, you just got to put a limit on the titties.
Hey, well,
shit.
here's what I say. I hope you're, in all honesty, I hope you're never in a situation where you or someone in your family needs something, like, say, some insurance, needs to cover some medication, but your insurance won't cover it due to the price.
I've been there several
And-
times in my life.
Okay, and so
Exactly. That's that he doesn't care. Because he's really content with the dog-eat-dog world. He'll gladly take the fall as long as capitalism thrives. Even if capitalism will fuck him and his loved ones over, he does not care as long as capitalism thrives. He'll just bend over and die and be like, "Well, I wasn't strong enough. I deserve it." Trust me, a lot of capitalists actually do think like that. They think that they deserve what they got because they weren't wealthy enough, or they made bad decisions, so they deserve what they got. It's so self-defeating, it's so self-destructive, and it's just counterproductive. It's all kinds of evil.
were you able to pay for it on your own?
No.
Okay, then. So, do you want that to be the result, that someone can just arbitrarily say, "Hey, you know what? I kind of want to just."
I mean,
make
I
more
want a
money off of this."
Lamborghini too, but it's exorbitantly priced and I can't have it.
Why the fuck are you comparing a Lamborghini to a fucking drug that will save somebody's lives? Those are two different things. One is a need and one is a fucking personal want that will do nothing for you in the long run. You gain no benefit other than like personal satisfaction or whatever. Well, the latter, the drug will prolong your life, to give you more years on this earth.
But is that something that is required for you to survive? Is a question.
Yes. Do you know how cool you are in a fucking Lambo?
It's not required for you to survive. It's required for
not?
you to get
No,
laid.
guys, I got it. So we just need to answer one question that'll end this debate. So just some guy under the
This
system.
isn't a debate. This is someone giving an education to someone else on capitalism.
Well, maybe, but so here's the question then. Like under your system, just some guy. Let's pretend we had that situation again. Like only 35 people need this medicine, and it would cost millions of dollars to do the research. Who's going to pay for it? Like who's going to pay the money to do the research if they have to sell it at $7 each?
The government. Us. Everyone in the country. Tax dollars.
Well, that was the circumstance that, as I understand, the circumstance is essentially that there's 35 people who are affected by this disease or illness or what have you, and no one's essentially willing to do the research because it's more expensive to do the research than to produce the drug. Do I have that correct, Nick? Is that essentially what it is?
Okay, bringing any pharmaceutical to market costs roughly $5 billion.
Right,
because
so
of government regulations that you like.
They wouldn't make their money back is essentially the reason why they wouldn't want to produce it.
What? If there were legitimate regulations, it wouldn't really cost anything. It would just be a branch of the government, ideally.
$5 billion.
Right,
because
so
of government regulations that you like.
They wouldn't make their money back is essentially the reason why they wouldn't want to produce it. Correct.
Hypothetically, I mean,
Okay.
maybe they could make their money back, except they would be bitched at for how exorbitant the price is.
Exactly. So my point here is that someone can choose to do that, and they can either price that drug at that price and go, "Hey, look, these are the only people. This is the only way they can be made." Fine. But if you have an item that you have originally sold at a certain price, and then just for shits and giggles you decide to raise the price, I think that's a little out of line. I can understand basic inflation. I can understand certain raises, but when you go from $7 to $4,000, that's a little much. There has to be a reasonable level here where we can operate, where we're not trying to just screw over other people. That's the point. I don't think that anyone should just.
Why is your assumption that because the price went up that he's trying to screw over other people?
Because he is. There's no other good reason. There really is no other good reason. He didn't have to fucking purchase the rights to the drug. Then you wouldn't be in that situation.
That's the problem with your entire thing.
He's trying to make a buck, irrespective of what he's doing and how it will affect other people. That's the point.
You're making up that it's irrespective of what he's doing or how it will affect other people. You just decided that.
No, I'm looking at the situation. There is no other reason for him to raise the price other than he wants more money.
What? How do you know that?
You just told me.
There is no good.
He wanted more money so he could do other research. That was why he did it.
That's what he said in a post interview. That price.
He said it himself, so you blew yourself out. So basically, yes, he did it for fucking for profit. I don't care what you say after what you just said, because you just acknowledged that was the case. That came out of his mouth. You're gonna tell me what the other guy thinks, regardless of what he himself says? What?
Increase allowed his company to research and produce other other drugs for other conditions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the sole motivator is to make a buck.
It's bullshit. He didn't have to fucking purchase the rights to it.
Like that, because necessarily by what he said, the sole motivator, making a buck, is a dual motivation of making a buck and producing something else that's worthwhile. Right? Like, so it can't be the sole motivator. What you've done is taken someone who says, oh, well, he took this drug that was $7. It was actually $13 and he made it 4,000. And it was, let's see, what was the actual increase on that? It went from $13.50 a pill to $750 a pill, which is, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of money. Absolutely. But here's the problem. You can't say that the sole motivation to do it was for him to make money. If the sole motivation to do it, or if there's any other motivation, you can't have a sole motivation.
Do I have any other information to be able to determine that there's anything other than what he said in that interview that was motivating him?
I don't know. Anything else? You're the one making it up.
I didn't make up that he did the interview. He did the interview. You're the one who told me about the interview. So I'm taking you at your word that this is what he said that he could do with this money. So this was a rationale. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, that basically this person asked him, why did you raise the price? And he came up with this reason for raising the price. Is that essentially what happened in that circumstance? That he was being asked, was he being asked by the interviewer why he raised the price? And then he gave that explanation for why he raised the price? Okay, then. So I'm going to assume, until he says something otherwise, that was his motivation. That he raised the price to get the money to do something else.
And which we've discovered that is bullshit. I mean, I don't have to explain it, right? We already know that it's bullshit, right? Right? Okay.
Right. But that's different than making a buck, because he's reinvesting capital that he's accumulating into something else.
It's still making a buck. I'm not saying making a buck is like he's just pocketing the cash. I mean,
that's literally. What it sounds like.
Well, he did buy that Wu-Tang album for like $1 million.
But he already had that money. But the point that I'm making is that I don't see a reason for saying that there shouldn't be some regulation on what you're doing because you are affecting other people. It's not just that it's just you having a transaction. It's that you're doing something, particularly when it comes to things like food, clothing, water, that we should not be playing around with these and just going, well, I just want to be able to take the money and invest it somewhere else or do this. These are things that people literally require in order to be able to survive. It's really unethical and immoral on our end as a civilization to allow people to just say, hey, I'm going to slap a price tag on this and deny it to you, knowing that there are going to be people
who have no right to it.
Yes, I do. Water, I have a right
to.
I have the...
Sorry, I don't care what the fuck he says. Legally, no, we really don't have a right to it. Morally, like actually, I have a right to life-saving medicine. I have a right to food. I have a right to water. I have a right to all of that shit that I fucking that I need to survive. We all have the right to those things. and putting it behind a paywall is disgusting. I'm sorry, that's what I believe. Go fuck yourself.
Right to
First of all,
survive. I don't have the right to survive.
Go to Dasani and demand free water or die tomorrow and see how well you go.
Let's just establish this. Do I have the right?
You see how much he doesn't care about people at all? He basically just said, "Oh, if you don't have enough money for it, fuck off." He basically acknowledges that there are people that may or may not starve to death or die of thirst because fuck you for not having enough money.
Right to life.
You have the right to life, sure, but no one has to give it to you.
No one has to give it to me. Can you deny me my life? Are you allowed to do that?
I can deny you water.
No, that's not the question I asked. Can you deny me my life?
Yes.
Yes. You can. So you're legally allowed to take my life if you want to.
No.
Mask off.
I can deny you your life, not take your life.
How can you deny me my life?
I don't know. You made up.
There's essentially no difference between the two. I'm sorry, there really isn't. Because especially when it comes to something like fucking water, it costs you nothing to give somebody water. Maybe it costs you a little water that you'll get back easily, especially in this country, in this economy. Jesus, I mean, water doesn't cost that much, but there are people that there's such a thing as homeless people that can't afford water. So, you know.
The retarded question again.
I asked you a very specific question.
You asked, can I deny you your life? And I said, I can deny you water. And you said, that's not the question. Can you deny me my life? So, but my assumption has to be, can I deny?
Just some guy's framing was pretty piss poor there, right there, because like that's really dumb. Because I don't even know what scenario he was trying to lay out there. I mean, you're gonna have to give a realistic scenario, even though there's no point with giving out like a logical scenario for this guy, because all this dude cares about is selfishness.
Deny you the resources that you require to live? Yes, of course I can.
No, actually, you can't.
It's in our... Martin, whatever his fucking last name said, there is a caveat to it. He said that people that can't afford it with insurance companies and can't get it through a hospital, that they would provide it at a discount or for free.
Or for free. For as little as $1.
Okay, so
you know he didn't go to jail for this, right? Little as $1.
Through insurance company.
Wait, with fucking last name said, there is a caveat to it. He said that people that can't afford it with insurance companies and can't get it through a hospital, that they would provide it at a discount or for free.
Or for free. For as little as $1.
I tried to find that, but I don't.
You know
I don't
he didn't
see.
go to jail for this, right? You know that he didn't go to jail for this thing, right? He went to jail for something completely different.
Yeah, withholding.
It's no excuse for raising the price. There really isn't any excuse for
He
that.
went to jail for something completely different from this because this actually wasn't a problem. This just got a headline.
So
but
the
you're
circumstance
still
that
asking me.
the circumstance
You
that
just
Tug
said I
just
can't.
explained, the circumstance that Tug just explained remedies the problem. If he is willing to provide it to people who cannot afford it, then there is no issue. That's it. The problem is solved. So
you know how he can do that? Because he raised the price.
Or because he's the one who actually has the items.
What?
That's really why.
That makes no fucking sense, because if he's giving it away for free, then he's not making profit off of it then. So who's actually buying this shit? Like the few wealthy people that are buying it? You're gonna make more money with the lower lower prices, because then you have more customers. Isn't that what like the whole capitalist argument is? Like a lot of like quote unquote decent capitalists will say that lower prices get more customers and you will make a lot more money in the long run. This is so fucking circular and contradictory, because like he's arguing in favor of him raising the price just out the gate. And then now that he comes to find out that, oh wait, maybe he is giving it away for free, now he's arguing in favor of him for that. Now he's standing the guy for that. The dude contradicts himself, because like what are your actual values then?
He can do that. He doesn't actually have to pay for it unless he's actually paying people to produce it. But if he physically has them in stock, then he can give them out whenever he wants. He doesn't have to charge price.
He doesn't have to give anything. He could make all the pills and just shove them up his own asshole if he wants. They're his.
Yeah, he's free to do that if he.
That's wrong. I'm sorry. That's no. People need those fucking pills. Why? He doesn't care. Again, he does not care.
Not under your system, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, because he'd be denying someone their right to the pill that you're alleged that they have.
Yes.
You just said, I can't deny you the resources you require to live. Of course I can, if they're mine.
No.
You can't come to my house and demand a glass of water.
No, I can, but you also can't block me from being able to get water anywhere else.
If it's on my property, I absolutely can.
If it's the only source of water, or you've bought the property with the intention of doing something like that, then we have an ethical issue.
Yep. I have a whole shitload of water on my property, and you can't have any of it.
I don't have to get it from you. That's the point.
But if you had to get it from me,
only have to get it from you, then we have a problem, because that is something that.
You're right. If here, let's put it this way. My kid is a direct match for an organ that you need, and it's the only person in the world that has it. You can't have it. I don't care how much you need it. In fact, I'd shoot you before I let my kid be taken.
I'm not allowed to.
That is a very extreme scenario that you're laying out. That's not the. What argument are you trying to make with that? What kind of. That's so dumb. That is so dumb. Cause on one hand, that's a whole ass human being child. On the other hand, it's just fucking water that you can find anyway.
Take something from another person's body. You're entitled to your body.
My cat has a liver that you need, and if you don't get my cat's liver,
I have the exact same opinion about.
Again, now you're talking about getting something from a living thing. Are you fucking serious? Organs from a living thing and water are not the exact same things. Please don't compare the two.
I have the exact same opinion about that. You don't just get to randomly kill people or kill things.
My tree in my yard has the one miracle fruit that keeps you alive. No, you can't have it.
Now that's a different scenario. Then, if you don't need it, but somebody else needs it, fuck you for denying somebody to have access to it.
This is literally just a tree on your property. Is that
it's
it?
The only tree on earth because I made it with my tits. I squeezed my man milk all over the ground. I grew the biggest, most beautiful cancer-curing tree on the planet. And if you eat the fruit...
Just a second, guys. Just a second. Some people in the chat were asking me, would I stop this? No. Okay, continue.
No.
Sorry.
It grew this cancer-curing fruit, and you've got the cancer. And if you eat this fruit, it's the only fruit on earth. If you eat this fruit, you'll live, and if you don't, you die. Well, you can't have it if I don't say so.
I would rather die of cancer than have anything of your sissy titty juice. As simple as that. I would never have it. Just out on principle, I would rather die of the most riddled ass cancer than get anything from your sissy titty juice.
That's right.
Would never have it.
Now, I just want to say there's an important thing to remember is when we talk about rights, you only have a right to what you can actually defend. To be you could own your property, but if you can't defend it from someone who's taking it from you, is it really yours? Yeah, this.
Again, that is a really shit argument as well. Dog eat dog world. I'm sorry, that's what it is. That's another dog eat dog advocacy. Well, if you couldn't defend it well enough, you really didn't have the right to it. Ew,
things
gross.
To consider when people get desperate enough, which is why we have to make a few exceptions every once in a while.
We don't have to make exceptions. The market will fix it.
The market will fix it. The same argument. Capitalism will sort it out. It'll sort itself out. Don't worry, hang in there. If you die before it gets sorted out, then sorry, man. But yeah, it'll sort it all out. Fuck.
I highly doubt that.
It did.
Where?
It did. He provided drugs, or he was planning on providing the drugs for free. I think he ended up providing the drugs for free, right? That's what you said.
This was when they arrested him. That was what stopped his plan.
No, his arrest.
He shouldn't have raised the price at all to begin with. Fuck. all he did was just it's all talk at this point because we don't know if he's actually gonna do it or not.
It's just completely different.
Yeah, their company was still providing for free if someone, again, part of this is blowback. That's part of the capitalism way too. If you have a problem with this shit and you're like, hey, fuck this guy, you can make sure that you publicly shame them into giving some shit away for free. I mean,
And,
that's what,
and that too, I think, gets to be along the questionable line, because then you're bending to public pressure rather than allowing things to happen in a controlled way. This is how you end
Rather
up
than
with a cancel,
but see,
what's
that's
the
cancel
problem
culture.
with bending to public pressure, but not a government price cap?
A government price cap is something that can be altered.
Public pressure too.
Oh yeah,
It's something
they're
that can
really
be
good at
altered.
altering those.
Oh my
no,
God.
let's take it back to what originally triggered
are
this. We were talking about the whole.
Doesn't it always get altered? What the fuck is he laughing about? Pretty sure he's right on that. It does get altered, and it can be altered, and I'm pretty sure it has been altered over the course of time, because as the economy tends to like kind of shift in a way. Well, like things cost more, minimum wage has increased with how inflation kind of naturally happens.
Hoarders, right? So you saw what happened to the PlayStation hoarder. I mean, there was a case last year where some dude hoarded like 400 PlayStations, and then he got robbed, and everyone was fucking laughing at him. Like, yeah,
there actually are government mandates for certain things. Like I'll tell you a terrible situation during the beer bug. We had people hoarding baby food. Okay, like you couldn't fucking get baby food. That's a problem. That's a real problem. There are government mandates that stepped in and stopped that shit. Now, again, you can agree or disagree, but there is oversight for certain items. Now, anyway, argue more.
No, I think in circumstances like with baby food, I think that would be a perfect example of okay, look, there are lots of people with babies. We should, the way you would initially begin this is to just limit how much people can buy at one time when you know that there's this kind of panic going on. The stores are allowed to do that. They can limit per purchase items.
This guy is so frustrated with hearing caring about other people. Look, he's like so frustrated. He's like, why does this soft ass bitch care about people? Ugh.
They do it all the time. So that would be one way that you could do it. You could ask them to do it. I think it would be really questionable to have the government randomly decide to do this without any actual, any actual viable reason for doing it. And part of the problem with what happened with the pandemic is that initially they don't actually know anything. So people are just panic buying. You can't just have the government go, oh, you can't do that. But I think the businesses, if they want to make sure that they can continue to do business by selling those products, should say, okay, look.
You're not talking buying to hoard. We're talking buying to resell at exorbitant price. There again, there's
they're both, no, I'm sorry, but they're both equally disgusting. Buying to hoard and buying to sell at like extremely high prices are both predatory and evil.
Essential products, however they define it. Again, agree or disagree with that.
But wasn't that what they were doing though? That's what they were doing. You would have a couple of people go in and they would buy a bunch of this stuff, and they are effectively hoarding it. They're just selling.
This is where we ran into some really fucked up stuff because, truly, toilet paper, is that essential? Maybe not.
Is hand sanitizer essential? Have you ever heard of soap?
I'm just, there were other products out there. There were, what I would notice a bare in a shelf full of toilet paper, but you would have like the men's wipes, the wet wipes, basically.
People got very weird with it. They got very
alternative.
Well, actually, no,
they bought all the napkins, for Christ's sake.
The chat has the answer. You can stop these hoarders if you let the stores raise the price on those items. Then no one.
Oh
can
my
buy, like,
God.
of them anymore.
And then some people can't buy one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're not exactly solving the problem. You're just creating a new problem.
Nope.
Yes, you are.
Problem because the store owns the product.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done with this guy. Oh, there's no. Just some guy is wasted so much time arguing with this dude. Holy shit, he does not care, cause his moral system is like, it's mine, so I'm allowed to. to enforce my will upon others because thing belongs to me, and I may not need it, other people may need it, but I will deny them access to it because it is my thing. I have freedom. I have right and freedom to keep to myself for no other reason, just because I feel like it, because I just want to, and it's okay because it's mine, and I now have freedom to. It's so fucking. It's unironically evil. Hate, disgusting. This is my gripe with capitalism as an idea, as an economic system. From a moral sense and from an economic sense, it's just disgusting. I hate everything about it.